In the first place, you don't need to be in any place. You need to be in you. Adeani nyina omo ye ne nyina ne fi before is supposed to be spirituality. And obia befa. Her first 100 years of Muhammad's life cannot be seen. You can't talk about it.
Etifu assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Mosom for you tiada wani indue nyina be woso ebeka bekpa turu bakpa sembala kodom. Within the UTI, subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me on Facebook and also on TikTok. The platform is UTI Dawa. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our ibadah and put ikhlas in it, inshallah. Now we're about to respond to Maame Grace and this panel. Saidu Ali Sisi, what do you call him? Ali Sisi. In fact, tag Maame Grace in this video. Let her come. I need her on this video. I want her to watch this video. Tag Maame Grace in this video.
In the first place, you don't need to be in any place. You need to be in you. Adeani nyina omo ye ne nyina ne fi before is supposed to be spirituality. And obia befa. Her first 100 years of Muhammad's life cannot be seen. You can't talk about it.
And these are the kind of people who claim to be knowledgeable and intellectual and call themselves Islamic scholars on Maame Grace platform. They come there and exhibit full of ignorance, arrogance, and pride over there. And Maame Grace is so happy listening to this trash. She's been fed trash. Instead of cross-checking or even analyzing, she will sit down and entertain this kind of lies on their platform and be tagging them as scholars. Sometimes I ask myself, is Maame Grace really looking for the truth, or in her quest for spirituality, she will accept every trash as the truth? The Prophet ﷺ only lived for 63 years. And this guy is on her platform lying to her that the first 100 years of Muhammad ﷺ's life cannot be found and you cannot trace it. What kind of lies is this? Who told this guy those lies? In fact, we can trace even when his father was born, we can trace it. Now, you were the same person who was on a show telling Maame Grace how the father was ransomed with camels. Even the father was ransomed with camels. We have this source. How then don't we have the source of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam before he was born? We even have the source when the mother got pregnant, her first month, second month, until 9th month, until he was born, until he grew, until he became a prophet. We have all the sources. What kind of lies is this? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam only lived for 63 years. According to authentic hadith, he lived for 63 years. Where from the 100 years of his life? Where do you get such sources from? And these are the kind of people Maame Grace has been entertaining. Tag Maame Grace in this video. I wouldn't have even responded to this guy again because I've done videos on him about 3 or 4 times, and he's just an arrogant guy with dreadlocks thinking he has learned or studied Islam. Meanwhile, he's a kafir. He's a disbeliever. This guy is no Muslim. I will pardon Maame Grace on one condition. The condition is that she is thinking that everybody with Islamic name, Said, Ali, Muhammad, Ibrahim, is a Muslim. Or anybody who is coming from Northern region is a Muslim. She doesn't know that Islam is a universal religion where Kweku, Kofi, Stephen, Thomas, Philip can also join. And Ibrahim, Muhammad can be a kafir. These things you guys don't even know it. Must you go to the extent of swallowing everything they give you instead of questioning them? Let's listen to him and let me school him small.
And you Quran nankasa ekita 114 chapters don. Nia ewo mu a eye nukure efa nipa life ho a e benefit nipa ma nipa hu nanim ebo ne bra no. Embro 3 pages.
So according to this guy, he's saying that there are there are 114 chapters in the Quran, and when you access the ones that are true, it's just 3 pages which talks about morals and ethics. This guy is a tabula rasa. He is a kafir, he's a disbeliever. I will urge Mami Grace to know when he comes on her platform, she should tell him that I said he's a kafir, he's a disbeliever. He's a kafir. This is kufr straight, he's a kafir. Now that's one. The second aspect of it is that he lied. Everything about the Quran is truth. There is not a single lie in the Quran. I don't know where he got his scholarly certificate from, or who made him a scholar in Islam. Which institution did he go to become a scholar of Islam? I don't know his shahada. I don't know where he became a scholar of Islam and who even acknowledges him as a scholar of Islam, apart from Maame Grace and her panels. I don't even know. But one thing I'm certain about is that
97% of the Quran teaches ethics, the relationship between God and man, the purpose of life, morality, other truths as well. The history of nations in the past teaches us how to be self-critical, how to use reason and faith, the extreme importance of using reason and faith, teaches many, many major themes. You know what I was taught when I became a convert? Rules, rules, rules. If I hadn't studied this religion myself and entered this religion and all I received were rules, 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 I would have left it the next day. Thank God I read the Quran first.
Note that Islam is a complete code of life. It answers everything. There is not a single thing about life that the Quran and the Hadith does not answer, or the Quran on its own does not give answers to. Because the Quran is the major scripture. Now, the historical aspect of the Quran also teaches morality, and it also gives you warning and also glad tidings for you to learn some lessons from that part. There is not a single word in the Quran that does not benefit mankind. Apart from its spirituality, its healings, its its lessons. There is much more in the Quran that people with 1 kilobyte brain will never ascertain and understand this. That is the truth. At least from my head alone, I can give you 99 verses on ethics and morality, and you say it is only 3 pages? The entire Surah Al-Baqarah is full of morality and ethics that will benefit you and coach your life. The entire Surah, Baqarah alone, chapter 2. And spiritual benefit is there, and its physical benefits are there, and there are verses in it that you can just rely on and make a dua, and you get mustajaba, instant answers. So if you haven't studied Islam, don't be sitting down just because you are sitting there, nobody's there answering and schooling you. Don't be sitting there and be bragging. And one thing I've realized about Maame Grace is that she loves to listen to these lies. She loves to entertain these lies just because she wants to boost her platform. Maame Grace, have you noticed how the platform is going down? Nobody's watching you as like they used to watch you again. Have you noticed how people do not take the platform that serious again? Because you failed to bring scholars. You failed to bring intellectual people. On the contrary, you are only bringing people who make accusations, allegations without source, without proof in your quest of spirituality. People who do not even know history, not talk less of even knowing spirituality, are those who give your platforms to come and speak lies and nonsense on your platform just to tickle you for you to be happy. As a Muslim, I will go against anybody, no matter how close we are. I will go against anybody that has made an agenda to bring down Islam. You owe it to yourself to search, read on your own. It is far better than just sitting down and letting people to come and lie to you without asking any critical questions, demanding proof and sources from them.
The only creature was as is or hand one person or be say or what he or she is no nipa. World War kesiye bi o baby body no. And this is what we need. We should be human. Accept that we are the human. When you accept you are human, you understand that any nasty thing that is happening is coming from you.
So this guy is even contradicting himself, because he does not even know that as a Muslims, we know that we are anas, we know that we are insan, we know that we are bin Adam. You understand? That's why we have a chapter talking about man. Surah al-Insan. Man over here is referring to man and woman. Hal ata ala al-insani hinun min ad-dahri lam yakun shay'an madhkuro. Has there come upon man a period of a time when he was nothing to be mentioned? Inna khalaqna al-insana min nutfatin amshajin nabtalihi faj'alnahu sami'an basira. We created man from a liquid mixture to test him, and we made him hearing and seeing. Inna hadaynahu sabila imma shakiran wa imma kafuro. Like I said, we don't have a single chapter in the Quran that is just there without any benefit in it. So the Quran is the one that calls you insan, man. And when an Arab say you are insan, it also means you are someone who is capable of committing error or forgetting things. So the only creation who do not know they are human and are struggling to be spirit is you and Maame Grace. Not anybody. The Muslims are aware of this, and we know this already. And it's nothing new to us. And you can't teach Muslim spirituality because we have Surah al-Jinni, chapter Jinni, Quran chapter 72 in our Quran, whereas you don't have. And we have criteria to assess which spirit is good and which spirit is bad, and which spirit is evil, and which spirit is not. And we have the medicine to cast away every spirit we want to, and to call any spirit we want to, and to deny any spirit we want to. We have been told that we only Muslims know which kind of spirits are in the bathhouse, those in your room, those on your bed, those in the bush, those in the gardens, those in the sea, those. We have been taught this in our scriptures and in our manuscript. You're not the one to teach us spirituality. Islam is a complete code of life, full of ethics, morality, basic standard of living, and how to deal and live with anybody. There is not a single thing that is untold in Islam. Billahi lazi.
Omu menu we enye omu nko na omu ye romance a omu wo makamaemu samre no na romance dosum, but near esi ani se o sketch makamaemu sa time na Christians no wo outsketch of Makkah, because na Kaaba baby Kaaba no one na center of Makkah by one dominated by bosom. Anti Christopher no a mpe bosom sam no ati omo hunto omo outsketch of Makkah but na omo dosum pa.
This guy doesn't even know history, yet he come and sit down bragging and blabbering all around. In fact, it is true there were few Christians in Makkah. Few, they were never plenty. In Makkah, there were few. Now, around Makkah, like places like Najrana, that is the places where there were plenty Christians. That is the place where there were plenty Christians. Everyone knows these sources and this history. In fact, you don't have to be a scholar before you know this. It is plenty that the Christians, it is even written in Islamic source that the Christians from Najrana even came to the Prophet. And he gave them shelter. He sheltered them and welcomed them. In fact, let me prove to you with evidences. According to Ibn Hisham, volume 1, page number 217 to 221. According to Ibn Hisham, volume 1, page number 221 to 230. In fact, according to Ibn Hisham, volume 1, page number 233 to 238. In fact, according to M. Links, Muhammad, page number 29 to 30. According to under Alexander Severus, page number 222 to 235. Who says Bosra became a Roman colony. And then Martin Links, who wrote about Muhammad, his life based on earlier sources. Allen, Unwin, UK, 1983, page number 29. They all wrote this. Let me screenshot and then give it to you. About the delegation of Nigerian Christians. It says, no doubt the most important interaction between the Christians and the Prophet was the visit of the Nigerian delegation to Medina. Makkah and Medina had a very small Christian population, yet this liar is saying there were plenty Christians over there. This liar without a source. La ilaha illallah. Mami Grace, learn, oh. Learn. If you're looking for the truth, you owe it to yourself to learn and ask questions. Makkah and Medina had a very small Christian populations. Waraq ibn Nawfal was one of them. The majority of the Christian residents lived in Najran. The Prophet's first important encounter with the Christian clergy was in the 9th year of Hijrah, AD 631, 1 or 2 years before his death. Yet you are there lying that the Prophet had many Christians in Makkah. They were living there. There were plenty Christians. Zuku Jahili, Murakab. Zindikim Banza, Zindikim Wofi. When you begin to lie, don't you fear God when you lie? Eh? He only had to meet the bunch of Christians 1 year to his life. That was 9th of Hijrah, AD 631. Muhammad Rasulullah. Why do you lie? And these are plenty sources I'm giving. Let me give you plenty sources. There are plenty of these sources that I can give you. Hamidullah, Muhammad Rasulullah, page number 76. All these sources are there. I'm not the one saying this. These are sources we are giving you. Stop lying to people.
And we are one. Medina, baby, Muhammad migrate or call later. I want a life more establish Islamic Sumnankasano. A honuna a Jew for ne dominati.
Alisi say in his quest to try to massage lies that the Prophet ﷺ copied from Jews, is also saying that when Prophet ﷺ was chased away from Makkah, he migrated to Medina, where the Jews were plenty. The first question is that, why did the Jews migrated from Israel to Medina? It is because the Jews have heard in history that the last prophet will be born in Mecca, and he will be born by the Arabs, and he will come and stay in Medina, where he will die and will be buried. That is the reason why they had to migrate to come there, because they wanted him to be born a Jew. So they came there marrying the Arabs, so that the Prophet ﷺ at least might relate to them, or at least might come from their progeny. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala taught them lesson of their life. وَمَكَرُوا وَمَكَرَ اللَّهُ كُبَّارًا. And Allah azza wa jalla made Prophet ﷺ's mother come from Medina, who had no relation with any Jew, got married to Sidi Abdullah, who is from Mecca, and they gave birth to Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When Prophet ﷺ was born, and when he became a prophet, they refused to accept his message based on one thing, because he is not a Jew. That was their argument. There was not even a time when he had to study from the Jews. You know why? Because the Prophet ﷺ lived in Mecca for 13 solid years. 13 years before he moved to Medina. So when he moved to Medina, he was already a teacher. He was already a teacher then. And note this. There are instances when the Prophet ﷺ met the Christians. There are instances, and whenever he had met the Christians, they confirmed and affirmed him to be the final messenger. The first one was when he was around 9 to 12 years, when he met Bahira. His uncle, Sidi Abu Talib, traveled with him to Syria. And when he had reached Syria, there was a monk who is called Bahira. Let me give you the authentic narration from non-Muslims. And they say, this is the heading. The Prophet ﷺ's first meeting with the Christians occurred when he, as a young boy, aged between 9 or 12, joined his uncle merchant caravan for a trip to Syria. The Christian whom the Prophet ﷺ encountered was the monk Bahira, who was living in Bostra, a Roman colonial city. Monk Bahira was known for his belief that a prophet was soon to appear among the Arabs. He knew this. He knew this. Bahira had studied old manuscripts where he had learned of the coming of the final prophet, and he was convinced that This prophet would appear in his own lifetime. He was particularly interested in the Arab merchant who visited Syria to see if his conviction will come true. Bahira's attention was struck in a particular by a caravan from Mecca, which to his amazement was shaded by a cloud that hovered closely above them. The cloud moved as the caravan moved and did not go any further when they stopped. It was as if it were providing shade for a prophet or people in the group. When he also noticed that a tree lowered its branches over the caravan to provide further shade, he immediately realized that this caravan must contain an extraordinary person or persons. He invited all of the individuals in the caravan to a meal at his place, but none of their faces revealed the capacity of the expert prophet. He inquired if there was anyone who had not joined the meal. He answered. The answer he received was that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had been left behind to watch the caravan. He was keen to see Muhammad, and when he actually saw him, he realized that he carried all the signs that the awaited prophet was to have, as described in the books. He told Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's uncle to take him back to Mecca as soon as possible in order to guard him against potential enemies. This is coming from non-Muslims. It is not from Muslims. So why do you turn around to lie that Muhammad met Christians, he learned from the Christians? Why must you lie always?
Until Mecca was having a lot of Christians and Medina was having a lot of Jews.
This is obviously a lie. Mecca never had a lot of Christians. Most of the Christians were at Najrana, which is a border to Yemen. It is not in Mecca. Only few Christians are there. You understand? And when you go to Medina, yes, they had a lot of Jews. But the Prophet ﷺ went there as a teacher, calling them to Islam. Where he was saying, Ya Ahl al-Kitab, Ta'alaw ila kalimati sawa'in baynana wa baynakum. Quran 3 verse 64. O people of the scripture, come to common terms between you and us. Where it says, وَدَّتِ طَائِفَةٌ مِّنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ لَا يُضِلُّونَكُمْ وَمَا يُضِلُّونَ إِلَّا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَمَا يَشْعُرُونَ. Then the most of the what do you call them? The people of the scripture, Jews and Christians, want to mislead the Muslims. And these things are there. And I wonder how you lie. Is there any source where the Christians or the Jews were saying that Muhammad learned from them? Or it is your opinion or your emotions?
And there's interaction between these two. Muhammad Ankasa, to some extent, there on the life, he was a Roman Catholic.
Muhammad?
I Quranic chapter wohoa e confirm asem we.
Can you call it for me?
Quran chapter number 30, the chapter of Romans. Well, the chapter of Romans, our Arabic, we call it Surah to Rum. Rum in Arabic is Roman. Surah to Rum. Mempese making kind appointed.
Oh, the man can answer. Because
yes, we'll discuss this.
And to the what bonus said your monk say jokers.
Ami Grace, why didn't you apply the same logic to the one you did to the Malam whom you made him recite Alif Ba Ta Tha in Arabic? Why this name his telephone number in Arabic? Why didn't you apply same logic? The guy has mentioned the verse in the Quran. You should have made him point a single verse in that chapter which is saying that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a Rum. Jahili Murakab. Jahili. When we say Jahili, it means illiterate. Murakab. Let's cross-check Quran chapter number 30, Surah Al-Rum, and then see. By your logic, Surah Al-Shu'ara is talking about poets or musicians. Does it mean Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a poet or is a musician? Maida is talking about table from heaven. Does that make him the one that brought the table from heaven? In fact, Surah what do you call it? Kaf, Aswab al-Kaf, is talking about people who lived in a cave. Was he part of them too? So your logic does not even make sense. We have Surah al-Hijr, which is talking about people of Hijr or Aswab al-Aika. Does it mean that he was part of them? No. The Quran is full of chapters dedicated on specific occasions that is mentioned in the Quran. But it does not mean he is actually part of those people. When you see Surah to Rum, it doesn't make him part of the Roman Empire. What kind of lies is this? Where do you gather these lies from? People just come and sit down and lie. They don't fear God in their lies. I will read it for you. Anytime he comes on your platform, let him read said chapter, Maame Grace, where it says so. I'll read it plainly for you. If I go to the Tafasir, the disgrace will be so much to him. But let's go to directly. Alif Lam Mim. Alif Lam Mim. Go back to Rome. The Romans have defeated. Now, the Romans have been defeated. This is talking about how the Romans will be defeated. There is no way it says the Prophet ﷺ joined Roman Catholicism. في أدنى الأرض وهم من بعد غلبهم سيغلبون. In a nearby territory, but following their defeat, they will be victorious. This was a prophecy. In fact, when you read The Decline and the Fall of the Romans by Edward Gibbon, page number 50, where he talked page number 50 going, where he spoke about this marvelous prophecy. في بدء سنين لله الأمر من قبل ومن بعد ويومئذ يفرح المؤمنون. In a few years, the matter is up to Allah in the past and in the future. On that day, the believers will rejoice. This is a prophecy that the Romans will conquer again and they will win. And when the Prophet ﷺ had made this prophecy, the idolaters of Makkah, they were in support of the Persian Empire. You understand? They were in support of them, whereas the Muslims were also in support of the Roman Empire. You know why? Because the Muslims and the idolaters were enemies of each other. So everyone had his own team that he was supporting. Now this war has nothing to do with the Muslims and it has nothing to do with the idolaters, but everyone is throwing support for the one he chose. So the Prophet ﷺ had made this prophecy that within 3 to 9 years, from 1613 to 1619, the Byzantines will absolutely decimate the Persian Empire. And when he had made this prophecy, the kuffar, the disbelievers of Makkah, were making mockery of him. They were lying. They were saying he was a liar. How is that possible? They will never win. Ubay bin Khalaf had to mock the prophet. He had to mock him so much. And there were a lot of mockery around the prophet, and the Muslims were so confused. And indeed, between 6 to 8 years, Heraclius led the Byzantine crusade like a dagger into the heart of the Persian Empire, fulfilling this amazing prophecy. And this was indeed spoken by the prophet. And this history was written in the history of the decline and the fall of the Roman Empire. It was acknowledged by Edward Gibbon in his book, whereby he proved Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is indeed a true prophet of God. There is not a single authentic history ever seen the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was joined Roman Catholicism. This guy is a moron and a huge liar, a very huge liar, a moron and a huge liar. I believe if Maame Grace is looking for fairness and she's actually looking for the truth, she can set this match with him and I in a formal debate like how we did with Avram Iboshe. Set the topic. Was Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam a Roman Catholic before? Did he ever join Roman Catholicism? And Ebeyo says sini billahi lazi. So even if I'm to add some more, verse 6 says, وَعَدَ لَا يُخْلِفُ اللَّهُ وَعْدَهُ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَهُمْ نَاسَ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. The promise of Allah, Allah never breaks his promise, but most people do not know. It is there. Prophecy was fulfilled. يَعْلَمُونَ ظَاهِرًا مِنَ الْحَيَاةِ الدُّنْيَا. They know an outer aspect of the worldly life. وَهُمْ عَنِ الْآخِرَةِ هُمْ غَافِلُونَ. But they are heedless of the hereafter. You guys should get ready. You guys, you should get ready. Inshallah. So we will end our talk here. And in the right time, we shall actually analyze his full video once the full video has been posted. Inshallah. Zana Company Limited wo. In fact, uwe goodie, uwe copper, uwe silver, uwe gold. Au pese winsiesi no. When electroplating, uni baby ako against Zana Company Limited. Uwe goodie pese wondane sene ope. Onye the silver chain, onye the golden chain, onye the golden ring. Then opese onye no. Zana bese no edi amount. In fact, what organizes sports, ope cup, and ope medals bida to omukomu. Zana Company Limited bet to me aya edi amount. Any kind of jewelry at all. Zana Company and a young Juma. Zana ewa himfa. Zana ewa nungwa behind Fidelity Bank. Raviko ewa ena Zana ewa. Number 7 fra Zana 0240 481 568 568 0240 481 568 and 0248 42 44 93 0248 42 44 93. We are Henny, we are Penny, we are Goody, we are Catesia, we are Bugger, we are Golden Chain, or a wrist banner, or then a year gold, copper, silver, a year jewel in Quadia. When you pass a year, CSA, no from more Biarano, about to me, I had the amount. It's a contact Zana Company Limited, now, wow, inshallah. And you
Nabi Muhammad, Sayyidun Nabi Muhammad, Adin Nabi Muhammad, Muhudin Nabi Muhammad, Muqaddam Nabi Muhammad, Azizun Nabi Muhammad, Fadilun Nabi Muhammad, Mufaddilun Nabi Muhammad.